Good day to everyone. I hope that you are well. Today we're going to be reading chapter 4, which is about galaxies. Galaxies, wow, we go from our fairly small solar system to something sort of amazingly big. Before we do that, let's think of a little bit of vocabulary that we're going to run into. We will talk about astronomical, which is really large, enormous in number, size, or distance. Astronomical is an adjective. Atoms, those are nouns, tiny particles from which all substances are made. Cluster, a number of things of the same kind that are together in a group. Fuse, to join together. Galaxy, a large collection of stars, dust, and gas held together by a powerful force and separated from other star systems by an extensive amount of space. Irregular, uneven, not regular in shape, size, or other characteristics. Light years, distance traveled by light over a period of years, a measure of length used in astronomy. A spiral, it's a curved shape gradually winding around a center point. A little bit of background knowledge. What have we already learned? Well, I'm going to read a statement about the solar system. One word in the statement will be incorrect. If that one incorrect word is replaced with the correct word, the statement will be true. So listen carefully to each statement and identify the incorrect word. And then I'll ask you to repeat the statement, replacing that one with the correct word so that the statement will be true. You'll get it. Number 1, there are 7 planets in our solar system. You're right. We need to switch out 7 for the number 8 because there are 8 planets in our solar system. Earth is the 5th planet from the sun. Should be 3rd. Earth is the 3rd planet from the sun. The 4 gas giants are Jupiter, Mars, Uranus, and Neptune. Switch out Mars for Saturn. The 4 gas giants are Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune. Number 4, the comet belt lies between the planets Mars and Jupiter. Nope, not comet, asteroid. The asteroid belt lies between the planets Mars and Jupiter. Number 5, Pluto is a dwarf planet and lies in the asteroid belt between Mars and Jupiter. Not Pluto. Pluto is a trans-Newtonian body. Ceres is the dwarf planet that lies in the asteroid belt. Number 6, moons are natural meteors that orbit a planet. Moons are natural satellites that orbit a planet. It is hot on the side of Mercury facing away from the sun. You can change this one a couple different ways. You can say it is frigid on the side of Mercury facing away from the sun, or it is hot on the side of Mercury facing toward the sun. Either way would give you the correct true statement. Number 8, the terrain of Venus acts like a greenhouse and traps the energy from the sun. Not the terrain. What of Venus acts like a greenhouse and traps the heat energy from the sun? The atmosphere. The atmosphere of Venus acts like a greenhouse and traps heat energy from the sun. Another thing that you're going to need to know today is thinking about enormous numbers. It's really hard to wrap our mind around what they really mean. And so we're going to be using words like billion today because we're talking about billion stars or a billion light years. a billion years. Those things are so huge, it's hard for us to even think about them. So, here are a couple of different ways to think about just how big a billion is. One, if you have a dump truck that is full of sand, that dump truck might contain a billion individual grains of sand. It would take you almost 32 years to count to a billion if you counted one number every second without stopping. 32 years? Start counting. How old will you be? You'll be 40 by the time you get done. That's a billion. That's a lot. So that's a billion seconds. Wow. Number 3, what if you had a giant cube of ice the length and width of a football field, not including the end zones, and 35 building stories high? That would weigh about a billion pounds. So an ice cube, that's a football field that is 35 stories tall. That's a billion pounds. That's a lot. Mhm. All right. So I hope you've enjoyed our tour of the solar system so far. We've learned that our solar system is made up of the sun and all of the objects that orbit around it, including the 8 planets and their satellites, asteroids, and comets. Isn't space amazing? The thing that may amaze you the most is how much distance there is between the planets in our solar system. No wonder they call it space. Now that we've reached the edge of our solar system, do you want to see more closely what lies in the center? Before you can understand what lies beyond our solar system, you need to know a little more about what stars are. And the best place for us to start, get it? Haha, is with the star that lies in the center of our solar system that you see every day, our very own sun. Let's buckle up, put on our classroom space ship into play, and get it into super drive and continue on our tour. Here it is. You know, you should never look directly at the sun because it will damage your eyes, right? But with a special equipment that's in our spaceship, we're able to look directly at it. It is bright. And the sun is so much brighter and bigger than all the rest of the stars because we're so much closer to our star than we are to any other star. We only see our star, the sun, in the daytime because that's when we are facing it. And when the sun lights up our sky, it is so bright that we can't usually see any other stars in the daytime. You can tell just by looking that there is no way a spaceship could land on the sun. It's a big mass of incredibly hot gas. There's no solid surface to land on. The sun, like all stars, is made mostly of a gas called hydrogen. Hydrogen atoms in the very center of the sun crash into each other under intense heat and pressure. The hydrogen atoms fuse or join together to form another gas called helium. And this fusion creates energy you can see and feel in the form of light and heat. So, hydrogen turning into helium produces vast amount of energy and is what causes the sun to shine. The amount of heat and light being produced by a star determines its color. The surface of our sun is about 10,000 degrees Fahrenheit, not nearly as hot as the inside of the star. Even though 10,000 degrees is really hot compared to boiling water, our sun is still only considered a medium hot yellow star. Some stars are even hotter, and some are not as hot as our sun. In fact, our sun is not as hot as it used to be. Scientists believe that all stars are made of more or less the same things: hydrogen, helium, and smaller amounts of other basic substances. But just because stars are made from huge amounts of hydrogen and helium doesn't mean that all stars are the same. They aren't. The amount of substance or the mass that make up each star can vary, and the substances that make up some stars are more packed together than in others. Stars have different ages, too. Some stars in the universe are literally just born yesterday, and some, like our sun, are believed to be billions of years old. But our sun is not at the end of its life either. Many scientists believe that our sun still has billions of years yet to live. So stars can be very different from each other. Our sun seems large to us, and it is. In fact, it's so large that more than 1 million Earths could fit inside it. That's a lot of Earths. And just one Earth is pretty big. But believe it or not, our sun is small compared to many other stars. There are stars in the universe that are 2,000 times as big as the sun. Our sun seems very bright to us, and it is, but there are stars that are more than 4 million times as bright. Even so, there are stars that are smaller than our sun and some that are less bright. So you see, stars can be different in size, mass, color, brightness, temperature, and age. But the one thing that most stars have in common is that they exist in groups called galaxies. Do you remember how we define our solar system as a neighborhood of planets, asteroids, and other objects in orbit around a star? Well, a galaxy is a cluster of many stars that orbit around together in an even bigger neighborhood, like a country. So a galaxy is basically a gigantic country of stars. But all galaxies are not the same. They come in many sizes and shapes. Some galaxies are spiral, some galaxies are elliptical, some galaxies are irregular with no particular pattern. Here are a couple of galaxies that are spirals, sort of have a center, and it looks like swirling. You can tell that they're moving, right? This one looks like it's going this way, and this one looks like it's going this way. This is like a cluster, and that's sort of irregular. The galaxy that our solar system is called the Milky Way galaxy. It's a spiral galaxy. When you are standing on Earth, you are in the Milky Way galaxy. If you look up into the sky on a very clear, very dark night, away from the lights of a city, you can see a narrow band of thousands of stars going through the sky. When you look at this cloudy looking band, you're looking into the thickest, densest part of the Milky Way. The ancient Greeks called this band of stars the Milky Circle, and the ancient Romans called it the Milky Road. But guess what? When you are standing outside the Milky Way and look at it, it looks like a spiral. Would you like to see it? Well, let's go to outer space and look back. Here we are outside of a spiral galaxy like the Milky Way, looking down on it. We cannot really get outside of our galaxy and look back at it, but we can find one that looks like ours. Astronomers know what the Milky Way galaxy looks like, but no person or spaceship has ever traveled outside the Milky Way to take a picture of the whole galaxy. Scientists have figured out by using modern scientific instruments that the Milky Way is a spiral galaxy and looks very much like other spiral galaxies that we can take pictures of. So as you can see, this spiral galaxy has a bright center or hub of many bright stars with star-studded arms swirling out from it amid clouds of gas. Isn't it beautiful? And huge. Did you realize that galaxies were so gigantic? How many stars do you think is in one galaxy? A single galaxy usually contains between 1 billion and a few hundred billion stars. That's not even counting any planets or other objects that may be in orbit around all of those billions of stars. In addition to billions of stars, galaxies also contain clouds of gas and pieces of dust, which can eventually come together to form new stars. Don't forget, galaxies also include the space in between the stars that are in it. There's a huge amount of space in space. Stars in the Milky Way galaxy can be 100,000 light years away from each other, or they can be 5 light years away from each other, but most are somewhere in between. A light year is the distance that light travels in 1 year. Light travels at the speed of 186,000 miles per second. So 1 light year is nearly 6 trillion miles. That's about 6,000 billion miles. And you thought a billion was big. Well, as you can see, stars in the same galaxies are very far away from each other. These are astronomical distances. So then how do we know about our Milky Way? For starters, imagine being in a house at night, far away from bright lights. You could look out a window on one side of the house and see several stars in a dark, starlit sky. If you went to the other side of the house and looked out a different window, you'd see several different stars. All of the stars that you can see together, if you walk out and look up into the whole night sky, would be the Milky Way. People all over the world can look up into the sky and see the stars. Just as when you look out different windows of the same house, people in one part of the world see certain stars, while people looking into the sky on the other side of the world see different stars. Astronomers tell us that in all of Earth's skies, people can see a total of about 2,000 individual stars with the naked eye. Those 2,000 stars are all in our very own Milky Way galaxy. Not only that, astronomers use different kinds of powerful telescopes to see even more distant parts of our own Milky Way galaxy. Some of those telescopes are here on Earth, but some are in orbit around the Earth. And there are a few telescopes zooming through our solar system. Astronomers share their observations, their photographs, and the data that they've gathered with each other, and luckily with us too. Even with all of our powerful equipment, there are still things in the Milky Way galaxy and beyond it that no one has ever seen. Sometimes there is something in the Milky Way, like a star or another galaxy, or some things that are still too far away for even our most powerful telescopes. There are more stars and galaxies in the universe that we can even imagine. As you look out at the Milky Way, you may wonder about the other galaxies out there. One of the closest galaxies to our Milky Way galaxy is called the Andromeda Galaxy. The Andromeda Galaxy is a spiral galaxy very much like the Milky Way. And even though Andromeda is the closest spiral galaxy to our galaxy, the Andromeda Galaxy is still very far away, and there is still much that remains unknown about it. Several other smaller, irregular galaxies lie between the Milky Way and the Andromeda Galaxy. Now you know a lot more about our school space address. We live on planet Earth. Earth is the third planet from the sun in our solar system, one of 4 small rocky planets. Our solar system is just one planetary system located in one of the spiral arms of the Milky Way galaxy. This image, this is a real photograph. It was taken from the Hubble Space Telescope, which orbits Earth, and it took many hours to receive enough light from these distant galaxies to create this image. But this is one small picture in outer space. If you were to take your thumb and extend it out as far as your arm would go, and the part of space that is covered by the nail of your thumb is about how big this picture is. And everything that you see in that picture is a galaxy. It's not a sun, it's an entire galaxy. Each one of those spots has billions of suns. Oh. You may be thinking all about the other galaxies that exist besides our galaxies. There are billions of galaxies in the universe, another astronomical number. But wait, you may be thinking, let me get this right. There are billions of galaxies, and all of them have billions of stars in them. That is so big, I can't even get my mind around it. And the universe really and truly is an incredibly gigantic and vast place. So if that's how many galaxies there are in space that are hiding behind your thumbnail, no matter where you would move your thumb in the night sky, there's that many galaxies hiding behind it. Whoa.